Hello everyone, welcome to the live pre-match build-up for the game against Porto at the, I don't know what it's called, I'm just going to call it the Dragon Stadium because it sounded like that, and I'm not going to try to put on a Portuguese accent or any of that kind of nonsense. So, yeah, huge night in Europe for Erik ten Hag. I know there's a lot of United fans currently who are, let's say, worried about this game and nervous heading into it, and rightfully so, because that performance against Spurs just simply wasn't good enough. But we'll take a look at the team, Chiv, and then we'll go through it with a fine-tooth comb together. So, starting in net, it's the same back five that we usually have, so everyone knows that. Onana, Majori, De Ligt, Lissandro, and Dallo. Then the midfield is reverted to what he had in the first season, so he's gone Casemiro, Christian Eriksen, and Bruno Fernandes as the three in there. Now, how that's going to work, how that works now, you don't know, do you? We'll just have to wait and see and find out. And then in the front three, we've got AMAD, Hojlund starting his first game, and then we've got Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side as well. Reports of Maguire and Garnacho with a small injury, and I think Cobby's injured his knee a little bit as well, which is why he doesn't start. So, yeah, thoughts, feelings? What stands out there in that team for you, personally?
Interesting. Obviously, the midfield. That's really interesting. I'm actually quite happy about that.
I thought you might be.
Yeah, I like that. Two ball players. I hope we get a disciplined version of Bruno. I'm sure they probably put him in there because obviously, he's always going to play, but then there's that sporting Lisbon sort of, And I think Dallo was from, where's Dallo from? Benfica?
He is from Braga, Dallo.
Braga. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure, that's going to play. But Hojlund, okay. Okay, he's going for pace with Hojlund and Rashford. Maybe he wants to sit back, play on the counter. We did that a few times. Well, we did that quite often in his first season. So, interesting. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah. I think the one thing we're lacking at the moment is, well, we're lacking a lot of things as a team, but I think goals in general has really dried up, hasn't it? I think we've only scored one at Old Trafford, 0-0 to Palace, 1-1 against FC20. We just don't score nowhere near enough goals. So if we can start to, I know it's a big ask, but if we can start to get Rasmus in that vein of form, like we've seen him in, that'd be a huge help, wouldn't it?
Yeah, wasn't he like the top goal scorer in Champions League for until we got knocked out?
Group,
like he was
in the group stages,
he had 5 goals. Yeah, he had 5 goals in the group stage. So yeah, I like that the manager is giving me a bit of confidence. Even though personally I prefer Zexi, but then obviously, I mean, sometimes you need to give people confidence, and I like that Rasmus is starting. Because he hasn't really put in really good performances so far since he came back from injury.
Yeah,
that he's been missing. To be fair, it probably isn't just him. He just kind of goes missing because of the way we're set up, players around him, sort of thing. So it'll be good to see him have a run out. Yeah, this is a bit of a shock, because we're just saying off camera. Like I hadn't seen the lineup before you read it out, so yeah, I'm still processing it. But yeah, I like what I'm seeing.
Well, whilst you're processing the team, we can discuss. Well, we have to kind of go reflect back on that Tottenham performance because that really, really was a low sinking point. And I know also we've said that a lot of times under the manager because there has been quite a lot of bad performances. I get that. But this season, the whole red card being captain, everyone was bad, weren't there, on the weekend. So the way I'm going into this, I don't know if you feel the same, is it possibly can't be any worse than that performance.
I'm sure we said this last season.
But that is like the worst ever, isn't it? Like,
yeah. I'm sure we said that last season. Like we used to say, like, it can't get worse than this. Like, But yeah, that day Sunday was terrible. Like it was the worst. And then now, I think the worst about this whole thing is last season we had company. We had Chelsea for company. When we were playing shit, Chelsea was shit.
It's like we're shit together.
Yeah. Now and everyone who's supposed to be doing well is doing well. Apart from us, like we're the only ones taking out the base. But then, forget all that fun stuff. Like on the pitch, like that was really bad. That was terrible. Me and Sam went over it. We just looked like the players just didn't know what to do. And I think it was yesterday, I was seeing the video of them arguing on the pitch. Like, it was just so flat, disjointed. I mean, this you could use every adjective under the sun to describe that. Like that was terrible, absolutely terrible. I don't even know how to. I've gone over it so many times in my head. I've just yeah, it's just one that I don't want to think about anymore.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
like it's so bad. Like, what stood out to you? You and I haven't spoken since then. Like, what were your thoughts?
Do you know what? You know what the most worrying thing is for me? We hear all these things about players like Diego Dallo, who's the best in training, the first one to turn up, the ultimate professional, and even he looked lost, and he had one of his worst games in a United shirt. That was one of the first things I thought instantly after that game. The second thing I thought, Ugarte looked like he was just in deep waters. We were trying to play like a mid block, but then with no pressure on the ball. It was just bizarre. It was very, very bizarre how we set up. And Ugarte just looked like he was drowning a little bit, and there was no one throwing him armbands on. There was no kind of protection. And again, we've seen it before. I don't know what it is that he's trying to do, and I think that is the issue with every United fan. You're watching it, and you're like, where's the switching it up when it gets a little bit difficult? Every world class coach has the ability to pivot and change. And like Graham Potter could do it in a game. He's like a chameleon. He could just, if you need to go to a back five for a second, you need to make it more compact in midfield. If you need runners on the wing or you need a bit more creative, they'll change and they'll adapt. Ten Hag just has a plan A, and it's like, right, what do you do after that? It's not even a plan A. It's just like some weird form. I don't know.
I don't know what happened. Like, because if you remember first season, like his subs were always spot on. In his first season, like he always made the right decision with the subs when they were trying to change. Don't know what happened, and it was almost like he's just this new version that nobody seems to recognize anymore. Like, I don't understand it honestly, and I never really had faith in Mino and Ugarte because it's just a hunch. It's not like I have any insights or anything. It was just a hunch. Like, it just didn't feel. I didn't see any sort of chemistry between the two, between the way they play.
It looked
I couldn't see that
like
happen.
complete opposites, don't they? Like, not opposites in terms of like ability, but like they don't know each other. They look like strangers completely.
That's what it felt like. I'm glad that I don't remember too much about the game anymore, and I'm hoping. Honestly, I'm glad that I don't remember. Yeah, because that was terrible. And then I'm just hoping that it just becomes a distant memory. We've got Porto today, so let's see how that turns out.
Yeah. For anyone who's just joining, please do smash like on the video for us. I'm going to get into your comments very, very shortly, so don't worry about that. I'll get into all your thoughts and feelings about the team lineup and how you feel like we're going to do in the game. But we mentioned Dallo and Bruno. There is that kind of Portuguese narrative, isn't there? And a lot of emotion involved. Bruno Fernandes, I don't like scapegoating players. I feel like I talk about him a lot. But he needs to step up. If he's any kind of game you're going to step up in, going back home, going back close to, I know he doesn't support Porto, I think it's Boa Vista where he was born initially. Yeah. You've got that narrative there. You've got the fact that your games have been rescinded, so he's not going to be, off for the next couple of games. He's going to be involved against Villa, which some fans might say we wanted to see someone else in that 10, so we would have rather him missed the games. But it's time for players like that because we don't really have a talisman, do we? We don't have that go-to guy who we're like, he's going to do it. Like Chelsea, Cole Palmer, he's going to step up with something. Arsenal, Saka, he's going to step up with something. City, usually De Bruyne or Haaland, or we don't have that clutch player, do we? At all. Not one player.
Well, we did. We sold him to Napoli.
Who was that?
Scott McTominay.
Well, yeah, and we sold him to Napoli.
Sold him to Napoli. Yeah. That was that was our clutch player. Like, I'm saying it like a joke, and I'm joking, but he actually is. Last season, like, he was the one who came up clutch. He's gone now, so we don't have that. I don't know, man. I really this is the stage. Like, this is where Bruno needs to step up. Now, I don't think anyone can doubt his commitment and his desire and all the passion and all that. Like, we know that's there. What we need him to do is actually just calm the fuck down. Really.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple. Like, just calm down, keep it simple. Just stop all the Hollywood stuff, and just try and play. Just sometimes when football is simple, it's just easier for players when you just keep it simple like that. And I hope that. But then, yeah, we need a performance now from him. This game is because I think Eriksen Haaland's future is really riding on the next couple of games,
It has to
and
be, doesn't it?
It's not because I think this competition is like our most important this season. Like, won the league, won everything else. This is the most important trophy because what this does is, apart from winning the trophy, gets us into the Champions League. We get more money and then allows, loosens PSR constraints and stuff like that. So this is important and it's winnable on paper. There's nobody better than us on paper in this competition. Like, we're the strongest team on paper. But yeah, I really want this one. I do.
Yeah, the thing is with our away record, and not again, I feel like I'm being a really negative kind of Nick here, but our away record in Europe is bad. Is really, really bad. I mean, you go back to the Champions League last season, Copenhagen away when Rashford gets sent off. I think it is. You've got
Right.
Bayern Munich away, the cutbacks, and Sane, the mistake from Onana. Galatasaray away, they go 2 up. Like, you can go through this list. Even go back to I don't know. I to be honest, I don't know who we've beaten away in Europe off the top of my head.
Well, last season.
In general, under Ten Hag, who have we beaten away from Europe? Ammonia?
Oh, Barcelona. Come on, Barcelona.
No, we drew. We drew.
Did we win that?
No, we beat Barcelona at Old Trafford, but we drew at the Nou Camp. 1-1. Yeah, Rashford. Alonso scored, didn't he? Oh, no. Are you right, actually?
We won that.
Did we win it? Because Alonso scored off a set piece. Rashford scored.
Yeah. Anthony scored.
That was at Old Trafford.
Was that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I thought I always was under the illusion we drew it. But anyway, my point is that the away records...
If we can't name anything off the top of our heads, then obviously...
That tells you everything you need to know, innit? That's how bad we are away. So going to a place like this where Porto haven't lost a lot of games at home. They haven't lost for a while. And they're on quite a good winning streak. I know they lost to what's the name? Bodo Glimt, is it? Who's in our league as well. Yeah. I know they lost to them, and that was a bit of a mad game. But you look at this team, it looks like a tricky away fixture, doesn't it?
It is. I mean, it's well, I wouldn't use the word tricky. I said difficult. Like, it's more than just tricky. It's difficult. Like, if you went to somewhere like Ludogorets or something, that would be tricky because you don't really know what to expect. But with Porto, you know what you get. Look what they did to Arsenal last season, like in the Champions League. Exactly. It wasn't easy for Arsenal, like. So it's not one of those ones where, I mean, this is a big test, and those guys don't play around. We know how we face when we play. We know how we perform against organized teams. Porto, organized, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not going to be a walk in the park. We really need to step up. I'm really happy with the team. Because at the end of the day, we've got some experience there. Like, take away everything. Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, that's some experience there. And sometimes you need to dig into that bag of experience. Sometimes it transcends just the skills and ability and all that. It's having experienced players there, and I'm quite happy with that. I'm excited to see what it's going to be like. Because I was worried about who was going to start, really. What this also tells me is that he's willing to change a few things, because this was my biggest problem, right? That we weren't seeing any willingness to change. So now
has he not been had his hand forced though in that sense? Do you think?
Well, I don't know. I really don't want to know, the reason why. He's done it.
That's all that matters. He's fucking done it.
He's done it. So let's just see how that translates in the game now. And if that translates in the game, then why not? I mean. Yeah, okay. Some of us were I was and I still am Ten Hag out, but I want to see him do well. If he does well,
yeah. You're not just going to say it for the sake of it, basically.
No, if he does well, like, I really want him to do well.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So this is an indicator. Like, this is positive for me. This a lineup, and if it actually does well, then a lot of people will be back on board.
Yeah. I hope so. I just have a feeling we could either be really depressed after this game or really surprised. I don't think it's going to be anywhere in the middle. But let's see how everyone else is feeling in the chat. We've got Steph saying, big up Nick and Chivy. Far too offensive again. Casemiro will be exposed again, sadly. Interesting. Double Y J says, was looking forward to seeing Ugarte, Casemiro and Bruno. If that's the midfield three, I'm concerned. I feel like Ugarte still needs time to settle in. I think there's a lot of people who are judging him very quickly, and I think, just be careful, because players sometimes take a little bit of time to bed in to get used to the rhythm. People who are already writing him off and calling him shit. I mean, I saw what's the guy's name? The Dutch player who scored that banger in the '88 final. Van
Bommel.
No, not Van Bommel.
Van Basten?
Van Basten. Saying Ugarte, why they bought Ugarte is crap and he's a rubbish player. And I was like, so I'll give him a chance, man. He's not, he's played a couple of games. I know he looks like he's struggling at the moment, but I'm saying Casemiro had a bit of a transitional period when he came in because we had McTominay keeping him out of the team as well, didn't we? Until he eventually came in.
Go on, ask Patrice Evra or Arsenal Man Vidic what their first couple of games were like.
First 6 months.
It was terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, you can't just, but it's the new age. This is what happens now.
Yeah, agreed. Rich is saying, thank God I have the Guinness in because I'm going to need to be pissed by the time this game ends. Is training just about running and fitness? Seems that way rather than... Don't talk to Chivy about running. I got grilled about Mason Mount and running, so I'm not even going to mention legs in the midfield. I got strays, mate, on that one. But yeah, I agree with it a little bit. That's the only thing. Eriksen, I think his footballing brain is unbelievable, but at times when you're caught in a transition, you've got quite a few, physical, quick players like a Joe Linton or someone like that who carries the ball.
I get that.
He struggles.
I get that. Yeah. No, absolutely. I kind of get that, but maybe this is just wishful thinking. But if there's certain ways you can play football and not have to bust the gut every single time, if you're able to keep the ball in certain periods, like you don't really need to always have this, this. What's his name? Modric doesn't do that much running. He's just so smart enough to be in right positions at the right time, and the way Real Madrid plays allows him to float about. Like if we can have that, like I said, this might be wishful thinking, but I think it's not just about physicality. I think sometimes you might need some of these players, and he wouldn't even play the full game. He might come off, Ugarte might come on. You never know, man. And especially if we're trying to counter, like the best you need people like Eriksen if you're trying to counter.
Yeah. Just like controlling a game, playing through the lines. His ability to drop in other areas. He's really comfortable. Like he's really composed. I love it. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted Frenkie de Jong so much, because he would have brought in a similar similar kind of play style. I think he would have brought that. And obviously we can never get that over the line. We have to pivot and go to Casemiro, and then he changed the whole thing up. So yeah, I do like Christian Eriksen, but to say that he's been our best player so far tells you everything you need to know about our season. I think everything you need to know. Who's been better than Eriksen?
He's been one of.
He's been definitely up there, top 3, I think, so far since he's come into the team. And it isn't really, a high bar, is it, when we talk about it? So, Andy Williams saying midfield isn't sustainable, especially when you just bought £50 million midfield that it was meant to fix the problems. Jarvis saying Rashford and Bruno are Ten Hag's downfall. They don't fit his system, and by accommodating them, he's turned his Ajax style into a weak hybrid. He lacked the courage to fully commit to his own vision. My issue is with Ten Hag, right? When you look at the most important aspects of a team, whether it's in the Premier League or Europe, I think it's pressing, it's build-up, and how you defend as a team. They are 3 key components I really want to see. And in all 3 of them, we don't do any of them well. None of them. We don't press as a collective. We don't defend as a team, do we? We're not compact. Like, when you watch Arsenal defend, you're like you ain't getting past them. The way they get back into position, the way the 2 centre-backs so strong and great in 1v1 duels, we don't have any of that.
Crazy. No, we don't. And you just need to be organised. You don't have. But we've been trying to press for I don't know how many years. Everybody comes in with his own pressing style, and it's just always single, like Bruno running in his own. It's just. So I don't know how that's I don't know how that's going to translate in this game. I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen today. I don't think anyone can actually predict how we're actually going to play, because it's so crazy with the manager, with the way we don't know what version of United they're ever going to play. Now I know it's some version of shit.
Yeah, it's just, is it diarrhea? Is it a solid turd? Is it we don't know what it's going to be. That's the issue. I went on BBC Manchester before we came on, and they said to me, he was like, Nick, surely, if Ten Hag goes and wins these games now, you know, he gets the fans behind him and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, to be honest, it just feels like a plaster. I think I've seen enough evidence this season, unless he goes on a miracle run. I'm talking like a 10-game unbeaten, beats Villa, beats like a few big teams, and you start seeing a sustainable style and we're defending really well. It's something I can get behind. But right now, the evidence that I've seen from the start of the season up until this point, I'm like, right, I'm fine. I've done now. I've seen enough. I don't need to see it anymore. For me, it's just you're waiting on the inevitable. Personally, so look, I always want United to win. I always want the players to do well and score goals forever and always. I'll be like that until the very day I die. But I've seen enough evidence now to then lose. You know, get my trust back in him. Like, oh, actually, he's the guy. And now I just don't see it, man. Really, really don't see it.
So basically, you're me from last season.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I just need to see a really good game of football, to be honest. Like, I've been so down with how we've been performing, and I just want to see something good. And I just want because and you know what frustrates me about this manager is that I know that he actually has the ability to turn this around. Like, he has the knowledge. Does he have some sort of? Well, let me not say it.
Do you know what the bizarre thing is, Chivit? And you're right about that, because I mentioned this on the show yesterday, and I said I don't know if it's. I think if you listen to people who are very knowledgeable in the game, they talk about Ten Hag tactically is one of the best. Like, he, in terms of knowledge, he's one of the best. But I don't know if it's a communication thing where he's struggling to get his message across to the players, because he comes across like that, doesn't he, in press conferences and stuff.
I don't think so. I think it's like I think it's a panic. He's in like a panic mode. I don't think it's about getting his point across to the players. I think he's just abandoned. He just has this vision of a style of play that is very unrealistic at the moment. What he's done in the past has been amazing, and I would like for him to build on that and stop this new transitional football that he's trying to do that does not translate in the modern game. 10 years ago, in 2008, 2009, this would be perfect. We'll smash everyone with this style of play. But the game has evolved so much and so quickly. It almost seems like it's evolved past him. You get what I'm saying? So now, even a Southampton can fancy their chances against us because everybody else is kind of moving along with the way football is evolving, apart from us. And we're kind of just stuck in no man's land sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I know that he has the ability to be able to apply himself, because I've seen him do this before. Why he wouldn't do it, I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah, it's a huge question mark in it. I look at other managers, you know, some of the greatest managers ever. You look at Ancelotti, what's he got? He's got that. He's got charisma in it. Do you know what I mean? You can tell he's got that authority, and he's got a really good, strong relationship with the young players there and the young stars, because he's got a lot of egos in that dressing room. Bellingham, Mbappe, Vinicius. I mean, the list is fucking endless, and he manages them because he's got the right temperament and he's got the right connection. I look at any other players, Pep is extremely strict and will throw you like that. But the connection he has and what he gets out of his players, I just don't see that with Ten Hag at the minute. I really don't, personally.
Yeah, Pep he's obsessed with football. I like the way his mind thinks. With Ancelotti, like he's been with big players. Well, he played with some of the biggest. He won the Champions League as a player with AC Milan. So like this is not new to him.
Yeah.
So he's like Bellingham is probably his grandkids' age or something.
Mm-hmm.
So all this kind of stuff, like he's used to that. With Ten Hag, he's just kind of socially awkward.
That's what I feel like. Like a head teacher. That's exactly what it feels like. And you know, if you're listening to someone, if someone's trying to instruct you to do something, are you more likely to do it if you've got a really level basis connection with them, or are you more likely to do it if they're like, this is the standards, you have to do this. If you don't do this, then it's... Do you know what I mean? It's about man management. It's about getting the best out of the players. That's what I want to see, and I just don't think he has that. I don't know. Well, in reality, we don't see what goes on, do we, behind closed doors, you know. But it's just speculation from my end. Garner's saying the problem is FC Porto love these games. I'm sure they're going to be up. Look, United are travelling to their stadium. They're 100% going to be up for it, and the fans are 100% going to be up for it.
We don't have a good record there.
No.
Well, even when I go back, like in memory, like Porto was always just one of those ones where you just never really wanted to be there. And I think one of the years that we really could have won it was when they beat us and then went on to win it.
2004, right?
Yeah. Then McCarthy scored the header.
Yeah.
I think they beat us 2-1 at Old Trafford. Like, that was just like...
Yeah. Ricardo Carvalho in the team. Yeah, what a team they had. But then I think the last time we played them, I said this in the preview that we did, we played them in 2009. And it was obviously, we just won in Moscow. And then we lost in the final, didn't we, in the Champions League. But 2009, Ronaldo scored that banger. Then,
yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got history with them. But that's going back. I mean, you look at the teams, the difference from our team now to the team that started in that Porto game. It's fucking night and day, mate. Honestly, it really, really is. Andy's saying, so from the Spurs game, only Xerxes and Garnacho got dropped. Steph, sorry, people going back and forth. Kirk saying, I think he's gone for a counter-attacking team. He definitely has. Yeah. He definitely has. He's gone. Look, I think I was listening to someone. I respect it in football when it comes to tactics, and Statman Dave was talking about it. About he almost has to revert now to like Ollie ball, where you go with a 4-2-3-1, you sit deep and counter, because I think that's the only way you're going to get results at the minute. To be honest with you.
What's wrong with that?
No, it's not. If he gets results, I don't give a shit. The issue is you have.
Yeah.
What did Ollie? Yeah. The issue that Ollie had against teams you're going to sit back, you run out of ideas. There's no ideas there, and you get countered on ultimately. But look, if it works in away games in Europe, if it works against the big teams, at this point, I will take it over the football we're playing at the moment, and I'm sure you feel the same way.
We've always been a counter-attacking team, Man United. Yeah. We've been attacking, but then we've always been known for our counter-attack. Why not? What's wrong with that? Like, if we're able to just if it's able to get us past this season, at least the midway point of this season, why not? We need results at the moment.
Yeah, we need something. I mean, you look at...
As much as I hate this guy and as much as I want to see him go, I don't want him to lose. I don't want to see us lose just so he goes. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I still want us to win.
You know? Yeah, I'm with you. I think focus and mentality is a massive issue, and I think we struggle with that a lot as a team. And what that's down to, I don't know. I don't know if it's... Do you think the fact that we've got a lot of young players is an excuse in that? Or do you think we just have certain experienced players as well who have that? Because you look at... We have players here, when Varane was here as well, who have won a lot of trophies. They won the best trophies in the World Cups, Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
But we seem like a very fragile team.
I wouldn't put it on the young players. I mean, Arsenal, kind of like a young team as well. Yeah. I mean, we've seen there's a lot of teams out there with young players. I don't think it's down to young players. I think it's just the funk, right? I think we're just in this big fat funk and everything's just going bad. And once we start to win and build momentum, you see everything starts to change. And then all of a sudden the news articles start to change. And then, and then no one's worried about, focus or mentality or nothing. We just need to start winning football matches. That's literally what we need to just win the next football match. That's it. And then all of this kind of starts to change. I have to say, Nick, I haven't heard you sound this despondent in a while. Like,
have I really been that consistently positive? Has it been that draining?
Not positive. Yeah, not positive. But then you always seem to have this. Yeah, there's like a spark somewhere. Like, like hope. There's a bit of there. Now you just sound like, you're done. Like,
I am. Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I've seen. To be honest, sometimes you know me. I have my heart on my sleeve. I'll be very open and very honest about a lot of things. And with the manager, after winning that, I think it's more of I want to see him do well because he's won something. And those memories after the game, I was really happy, and it hit me. And I was like, if you could just tweak a couple things, if this new ownership comes in and we can just get this right, he can be the guy. I've seen him do it in individual games where we beat really good teams. We were referencing the City game. We was referencing the Barcelona at Camp Nou as well. Like, we've seen it. He can do it. That's the annoying thing. He's not able to do it on a consistent basis. And when you see the way we're playing in certain games, you fucking scratching your mind. Like, why on earth? Because we've seen it before. So why can't, like...
Why can't he just... Exactly.
That's the annoying thing. And I was always trying to find, maybe it's injuries, maybe it's this, and maybe it's that. And now you've got a fully fit squad. You've got everyone available, basically, pretty much. You've had, the start of the season wasn't a bad run. It weren't horrific. You had a good opportunity to bounce on it, and he hasn't done it. So I can't put any more trust. It'd be naive of me, really, to watch 3 seasons of this and then be like, oh, no, he's still the guy. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Football gets you in weird places, man. We've got Lahil Rashid saying we're back to Casemiro, 33-year-old, Eriksen, 33 years old. Are they the future? Both out the door in June next year. Clueless manager. Very strong comments there from Lahil. Elite saying Casemiro and Ugarte not going to happen. Enough, just like Casemiro and Amrabat, the manager is. Yeah, a lot of people not happy with Casemiro and Eriksen. I don't mind it, to be honest. I think Ugarte looked like he was swimming in deep waters in the last game, and Eriksen's been one of our better players. So I'm not going to scrutinise it until I see in game.
So what would people have preferred for us to go with?
That's it, isn't it? Cobby's injured. Mount's injured. Although I know you wouldn't have gone with Mount. Legs in the midfield.
But centrally, like Mount doesn't play centrally, does he?
Like, no. I was just a side joke, but no, there's no one else.
McTominay is gone, unless you want Collier. You want to take Collier to
in a big away game against Porto.
Yeah. So what would you have expected? Like, no. I think people just kind of, because of the way we've played, and I've said this a few times. I don't like to sound like a broken record, but because of the way we set up and the way we play, it kind of exposes, Casemiro and Eriksen. But if you can rely on their technical ability to if we're playing a counter-attack style, you want people like this on the ball to spot like the runs and stuff like that. Like, you want more control in the midfield. There's nobody else who can control that midfield the way these guys got at the moment, because we don't have anyone else really. Yeah. And I'm hoping, I'm really, really hoping that that they put in a performance. I'm hoping we see an experienced performance. I'm hoping for cool heads in the midfield. Stuff like that. Like, this is what I'm hoping for. But Porto can be overwhelming, man. They can overwhelm you, and that's my only fear with this one.
That segues perfectly, actually, because I want to discuss Porto. I've done a bit of digging on him, because obviously I haven't watched him week in, week out, but I've done a bit of analysis on him just because I wanted to see what kind of team he was and how they play, and watched him against Bodo Glimt as well. So, yeah, set up in a 4-2-3-1, and they're currently second in the league, 3 points behind Sporting, scored 16 goals, only conceded 3. But the big red flag is, the game that we've already mentioned in Bodo Glimt, and that was a bit of a freak result for them. They were very, very surprised, especially the fan base. Very physical, as Chivy said, very aggressive, man-to-man pressing. They flood the final third with numbers. You've got, I can't pronounce his name, but Samu Omaridian, I think it is, up top. Omaridian, who linked with Chelsea. Very physical, similar to like an Hojlund or a Hojlund. And they've got tricky wingers as well, so individual battles are going to be key. The reason why I touched on Bruno and Casemiro, what they are good at when they're able to execute it properly is playing those first-time passes that either go in behind or just, they can kill a team at times if they execute it correctly. The way Porto man-to-man press and aggressive, if they get those passes right, if they are on it from day dot, from minute one, you can get a result. You can get in behind. Rasmus and Rashford, they can get a goal, but it's if. Because we were struggling when Tottenham was pressing the life out of us, and we struggled. We didn't find any solutions. So I think players like that would be key tonight, Chivy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also when we're being pressed by Tottenham, like, you need, I don't want to keep banging on about ball players. You need ball players on the ball to kind of like and Ugarte didn't look like that at all. No. Like, he was just trying to get the ball out. Like, at some point, that's all we're trying to do. Like, when we have possession, when we're being pressed, we just want to get the ball out of our half. And it just looked very amateur at some point. But then when you have ball players on there, you can then exploit the press. Because what happens is that they will leave spaces in behind when they are pressing, and you can exploit that. So, I don't know. It's going to take me for the first maybe 10-15 minutes to kind of see how he's setting up, kind of gauge what we're trying to do. For some reason, Nick, I really can't explain this. I'm optimistic.
I get it, because United we have a history, don't we, of just winning when no one expects it.
This is what we do. We just pull out results from nowhere, absolutely nowhere. And I just feel I'm just optimistic. This kind of reminds me of when we played City in the final. Like, we're dead men walking. Before then, the lineup comes up, and it's kind of like, this is different. And then the way we set up, like, I'd never seen that before. I've seen people defend, park the bus, but not in that way. not in that way. And I've never seen that before. The way we set up and just narrowed the midfield and let them go wide. I'd never seen that before. And that was for me, that was like, okay, he's pulled one out of and I'm just hoping that's the case today, honestly, because there's been a change. I know a lot of people don't like the midfield. I think it's positive. I think it's a positive change. I will eat my words if I'm wrong, no problem. I don't have any problem with being wrong. I'm more than happy to be wrong.
Likewise, yeah, absolutely.
I'm very optimistic. Well, not very.
Yeah, steady on. Steady on.
Steady.
Yeah. The thing is, the hidden factor that we've not even spoken about is teams seem to find that extra gear, don't they? When they play United, there seems to be that, like, because United's coming to town and they're here, we want to put on a show. We want to show. And I think it's the perfect time for Porto to play us. And they'll know that. And the coach will be on that. And the players will be on that.
I was just going to ask, do you know who their manager is?
Victor Bruno, I think his name is. I don't know a lot of him. But it's not like a big kind of experienced coach who I've seen before, I've heard of before. But I wanted to ask you, just because we are playing Porto, and I don't know if you know the history of, like, what the kind of amazing players that they've had, but who are the players that spring to mind, top 3 players of Porto for you?
Deco.
Deco has to be in there.
Yeah, Deco. Yeah, springs to mind. Obviously Carvalho springs to mind.
Was he underrated, Carvalho, do you think?
It's a tough one because now with media and all that, like if he was playing now, you'd get his flowers. Yeah. But because then there wasn't that much hype and overhyping of players and all that, I think he's very, very underrated with the way.
Yeah.
I think Carvalho was a fantastic defender, and like he wasn't even physically imposing.
Yeah.
So that
intelligent.
was more. Yeah, that was what was more impressive about him. Like you could. I'm probably taller than him. I'm probably bigger than him as well. But like, he was just really, really good. Who else comes to mind?
James Rodriguez is another standout one. Do you remember the
Rodriguez? Yeah.
The World Cup that he had? My God, when he scored that volley, everyone was like, Jesus.
Yeah. Obviously Benny McCarthy. Ricardo Perez at some point was
Quaresma, Travello.
Yeah. There's someone else I'm forgetting, but yeah,
Falcao.
Those are just a few names. Falcao was a Porto. Was he?
Yeah. He went Porto to Atletico. I think
he was.
Yeah.
He was.
El Tigre, was it something? I can't remember his name. So they've had
they've had some hard boys. But the thing about Porto, they're kind of similar to Atletico Madrid in the sense that they never really relied on like superstar players. It's the way they played. They just played like a machine, really. And that was what was so impressive about them. Because at some point, Benny McCarthy was like, their main player, and he was a bad boy striker. He was.
Do you see his comments, by the way, recently? Benny McCarthy?
Yeah. I think it was taken out of context.
Do you think?
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
About the players, like certain players apply themselves, other players didn't on Dalot. He said Bruno and Dalot would always be working on extras. He said if the others put in a similar work rate and attitude to what they did, they would have been a lot more successful. That's what he said. Which I thought,
I don't know about that.
Interesting.
I think I was talking about the comments I was referring to. Maybe I thought the one about the manager.
What was they?
I don't know. He said some comments about the manager, but I think it was taken out of context and they made him look like he was talking down on Ten Hag about him being awkward or something. Yeah, it was something weird. Yeah, the thing about I don't know. I have to see those two. A lot of things can be taken out of context, especially if you just take it, put it in a.
I mean,
in a text.
Aggregators do it on purpose, don't they?
Yeah.
They do it on purpose because they're like, and even I've noticed sometimes they'll take a quote and they'll add some kind of words in between it to make it sound like a different the way it was phrased.
Yeah.
Very blurred lines with aggregating accounts and when you copy it. So I appreciate that. But yeah, UTFR saying for that midfield to work, Bruno needs to play as a 6 with Casemiro and Eriksen as the 10. Don't get me started on him. Sabitzer went to Dortmund for 15 mil or something, and we got Mount for 60 and give him the 7. If we want to get started on the Mount conversation, I'm happy to do it. I'll back that until the fucking cows come home. The one thing, just whilst we're on it, just the one thing I wanted to say is, I think as a signing in isolation right now for United, it's a flop. There's no doubt about that because he's just been injured, and there was always question marks on where's he going to fit into the system. That I absolutely agree with. What I'll say about Mount is if fit and if available, he could be a key cog for any team. But with United at the minute, the players that we have, it just doesn't seem to fit. Like, Ten Hag signing was bizarre. That was really bizarre.
Yeah, so I don't know if you watch what I said with Sam yesterday. I was saying that he's not a bad player.
Yeah.
He just doesn't fit with in the team. I just don't think he fits. He could go somewhere else and be absolutely amazing for them.
Because Arteta wanted him, and Klopp wanted him as well.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Yeah. You know, when we lost to Palace, he played like he was in the game against not last season. I think it was when we played Palace.
Yeah. At home or away, you know about? Because we played him in the cup, and we played him obviously twice.
No, it was the one where Olise scores very early, like 2. Yeah, it was the 4-0, I think. Bruno was missing for that game. Mason Mount started the game.
I can't remember. But anyway, go on.
The first 10 minutes, it was decent. I was like, okay, I like what I'm seeing with him. Like everything he was doing was measured. And you could tell, he's thinking. He's really thinking. Yeah. And then Olise goes and scores, and then everything just goes to
It's rhythm as well. Don't forget. He's had like 5 games in a row for United. Really, it's just.
Listen, I'll be more than happy if he proves me wrong. I will buy a Mason Mount jersey
with a 7 on the back. Yeah, that I don't agree with. I definitely don't agree with. I didn't at the time when they gave him the 7. I was like, that makes no sense to me. No, that feels like just a commercial way to say like, oh.
Let me ask you this: in this team now, who would you give the 7
to? In terms of, so when you look at who's typically had it, it's been either skillful players with charisma. For me, I think Garnacho would probably be the one I'd lean towards to give it to. Yeah. Apart from that, you look George Best, Beckham. I'm not comparing him to any of them by any stretch of the imaginations, but I'm saying Flair, winger, young, coming up.
He will carry that, like he would do it justice.
Yeah.
Well, he's nowhere near the quality or anything like that.
No. He's got a long way to go.
And I know Sir Alex tried to demystify the number 7 after Ronaldo left. He tried to kind of just put it down a bit, and then he gave it to, I think Michael Owen had it, and then Antonio Valencia had it as well.
Valencia, yeah.
And I think he tried to demystify it. So if it's just like, it can't be a regular number, but if it was just like a regular squad number, I think Garnacho probably, in my opinion, I'd give it to him.
I think at the minute, the way the team's playing, you need to take the light off that, because then that brings its own pressure in itself anyway. You look at the period from 2010 to 2020, the players that wore it were, Di Maria, Alexis Sanchez, I'm trying to figure out who else wore it. Memphis Depay, did he wear it as well, I think, at some point?
He did.
So, it's been ruined. It's been basically stood on, shit on.
Oh my day!
And now our players got it who don't even play. Basically.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we really need to. There needs to be like a series or like a. We need to like write a book on what's happened at United. Like Jesus Christ.
Man United's worst number 7s ever.
Top 5. Day.
Yeah, some of our worst signings ever in general. Not just as a number 7.
Sanchez. Di Maria.
Yeah. There's a big list, a long list. UTFR saying another thing, Dalot has been shit at left back. Why can't we swap Majari with him? Majari plays left back for Morocco and is a lot better than Dalot. I think Majari's been really good on the right though. And with a player just settling in, maybe Ten Hag feels like, he's doing well there, so why change it? Dalot, to be fair, I think it's only been bad really against in the last game. I think before that he was okay. I thought so. I don't know. I was in Porto when they won the Champions League. I was working in the Drago Stadium, installing their new light rail system. That's amazing. That's unreal. That's UTFR. Working in Porto. That's great. Is Mount any better than Antony? He runs around. That's it. If you watch Mason Mount for Chelsea and you've watched him for England, he doesn't just run around. He's the way I was talking about Porto then. The way they press and how aggressive they are, having players like Mount who are quick thinkers on the pitch and could just keep it ticking and keep it moving are very important. Now, he don't score enough goals, or he's not scored enough goals for United. I think he's got 1. And assist are a question. But again, it could be system. You could have a Tuchel who comes in now, switches to a 3-4-3, puts Mount in more attacking right-handed side and left-handed side where he was playing for Chelsea and starts scoring goals again. Ten Hag's system affects a lot of players. And I think that's one thing we can all agree on. So he doesn't fit in. We agree with that. So then how can you say, oh, well, you expect him to play the best when there isn't a system set up for him to come into and flourish, you know? Just my thoughts. But I've got you, Mason. Don't you worry. Right, should we get into score predictions, Chive? How are you feeling with this one, mate? You said you was feeling... Go on.
I know what you're going to say.
You probably do, yeah.
No,
Do you want me to go first then, and see if I can prove you right? I don't know because I don't want to let you down now. If you've got a certain way of thinking, I don't want you that. I was gonna go.
I have two score lines in my head that I think you're gonna go.
Okay, 1-1. Yeah. I was gonna say.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought. I thought you're gonna go 1-1 or 2-1 Porto. That's how I feel. Yeah.
1-1 because I think there's an onus on Porto to give the fans something, but I can't see. I can see United losing it, but the amount of pressure that's on the manager, I think he'll tweak at least something to get half a result out of it. Because you've got Villa at the weekend, and I think we're definitely losing that game. So you need to get something tonight. I think he'll settle for a draw. You?
Yeah. Even though I'm very feeling optimistic about the lineup, it's just too big an ask.
You think?
To take 3 points. I think it's just based on what we've seen already. If we win, it will be a freak result, I swear. It's just too big an ask to ask for a win. I'm hopeful, but it's just a huge ask right now, with everything that's happening. But I was also gonna go 1-1, but I think I'll go 2. I think I'll go 2-1. Just
United.
Why not? Yeah.
Why not? If we can't do it on the pitch, try speak it into existence, right?
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, why not? I think other people agree. Andy's saying 2-1 Porto. Valencia thrived when he give it up. Mount should take the number 19. Steph's saying United win 2-1. Fuck knows why or how.
Go on, Steph. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Mount was mega at Chelsea. I like him, and I love that Mount at United. I agree. But he's not here tonight. He can't affect the team. It's only the players that are on the pitch. And for anyone who's just before we head off, this is the starting 11, by the way. I not even got into the manager's comments or anything either, but the game kicks off shortly. So we've got Hojlund, Rashford, and AMAD as your front three. Bruno, Eriksen, and Casemiro in the midfield, and then the usual back five that's been starting the majority of games. So that's how we're lining up.
Who's on the bench?
Right, let's pull the bench up for you because I've literally just seen it. Go back. Anyone who's curious about the Porto team as well, that is on the news ticker. So if you do watch Porto or do know the names, then check that out. Right, where's the bench? Find me the fucking bench. There we go. Bayindir, Heaton, Evans, Lindelof, Maguire, Collier, Dango, Ugarte, Anthony, Garnacho, and Xerxes on the bench. So Xerxes, Garnacho. But Garnacho's got a knock, so I don't know if he's going to get any minutes. Ugarte, maybe if you need, some legs. I don't know. Let's just fucking see what happens, shall we? Let's just see what happens.
Let's get a Bruno goal.
Yeah.
A redemption goal from Bruno.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Go and enjoy the game. We're going to be live after it with a few of the lads discussing it in depth, as always. So we would love you to come and join us and get your opinions in the comment section. Hopefully we get some form of a positive result and put in an half-decent performance. But I think that's fucking wishing on a star at the minute, the way we've been playing. So who knows? Thank you to Stevie as well, brother. I'm sure we'll be speaking in the chat. So we'll see you.